Guys, thanks for joining me. I just wanted to make a short video about the recent reports Russia has restarted its biological weapons program. And I wanted to do that because there's also reports about how Russia on a daily basis is escalating in its hybrid warfare campaign against the United States, the EU, and NATO, basically what we'll call the collective West. Now, when you put these two things together, that they've restarted this program and they're very desperate on the battlefield in Ukraine, and they're increasing what they're doing as far as risk profile. For example, what started out as merely cyber attacks against the United States 3, 4, 5 years ago has now gotten to a point where they're actually had a plot to kill the CEO of Rheinmetall. They've actually provided targeting information to the Houthis, a terrorist organization, to directly attack Western targets in the Red Sea. They've committed arson against defense facilities. They've even attacked a defense facility that was producing artillery shells for the Ukrainian military in Pennsylvania. It's the same one that Josh Shapiro and Volodymyr Zelensky visited a few weeks back, where they signed a show. It was a great photo opportunity and a great moment of how we're supporting the Ukrainian military and how the efforts in Ukraine are actually helping U.S. industry. Now, when you look at all these things together, increasing escalation up, Russia's fortunes in the war going down, and then you look at the fact that Russia needs something that it can use as a weapon. It can't use a nuke. It knows that. If you look at Bob Woodward's recent book, he did some interviews where he talked about how the United States, through Lloyd Austin, told Shoigu, the defense minister for the Russian military, in no uncertain terms, that do not use nukes because we will destroy your military. We will get militarily involved in the war. So Russia can't escalate to that. But there's this level of weapon that they can use that they have extreme and substantial expertise in, and that is biological weapons. And those are basically diseases that are weaponized for offensive use. Now, a little quick background here. Russia, during the Cold War, had 80,000 people employed in this program. They developed things like smallpox, anthrax, um, Marburg virus, which is a form of Ebola virus, Venezuelan equine encephalitis. These are diseases that they turn it perfected and weaponized that are highly resistant to antibiotics, to vaccines, to any form of treatment. And as far as smallpox and the Marburg virus, which again is related to Ebola, they're extremely communicable. We have all of these have a 70, 80, 90% fatality rate. And to the extent there are medications or vaccines that can work, they're likely to be very ineffective or highly ineffective against these versions because they've been genetically engineered to work that way. That's part of Russia's weaponization process. And I want to read a quote actually that explains sort of all this together. This is from Ken Alabek. He is a medical doctor and has multiple PhDs. He actually ran the biowarfare program in Russia during the Cold War for a few decades and made some of their biggest breakthroughs. And he said, one of the principal advantages of biological agents is that they are almost impossible to detect, which complicates the task of tracing the author of a biological attack. This makes them highly suitable for both terrorism and crime, as well as for strategic warfare. If you put this together and think about also the 2001 anthrax attacks in the United States. Now, in that situation, you had approximately 4 letters that went out to reporters and people in the United States Senate and Congress. And we're talking a few tablespoons of anthrax. And if you were in the United States at that time, you remember how much that shut down the entire U.S. Postal Service, the amount of time, effort, fear, and chaos and panic that sowed. That's exactly what Russia wants. That's exactly what would fit as the perfect hybrid warfare weapon. Because of this, I think there's a high likelihood that Russia, which restarted its biological weapons program at the same time, like literally down to the month, February of 2022, that they invaded Ukraine. And we know this because we can see that they built what's known as a BSL-4 special laboratory at a site that used to build, or sorry, that where they weaponized smallpox called Passad 6. I think it's highly likely that if the trajectory of the Ukraine war continues as it is, and if the West continues to put stupid restrictions and stupid limitations on the use of weapons, basically tying Ukraine's one hand behind its back, that we're going to have a biological weapon attack, either in Europe or the United States. I would suspect the highest likelihood is anthrax. Smallpox is a little bit more unlikely because it's highly communicable, uncontrollable, and vaccination stopped in 1972. But think about COVID-19. Think about the anthrax attacks in 2001. Think about how desperate Russia is. And this is where we're coming from. So I'm going to put a link in the description to some of the articles about the evidence showing Russia restarted this program and the recent attacks on the West, including just a few days ago, an arson attack on a British nuclear ballistic submarine base in the United Kingdom. So thanks for watching. Let's hope that the West does the right thing and gives Ukraine what it needs to win as soon as possible. Take care and have a good night.